Practice requires spiritual energy, but spiritual energy can only be produced in illusions, which originate from reflections of real-life stories. Young Shou, who possesses the ability to shuttle through time and space, created countless illusions and ascended to immortality with great strides, relying on the resources of another world. Young Shou. I have a movie that must become a fantasy. Su Leiguai is the director, Huang Zhan is the soundtrack, Xiao Dong is the martial finger, Hua Zai, Fa Zai and Wei Zai are all supporting role, Zhu Xian, Qingxia, Chu Hong and Jia Xin are all female stars. The male lead should be as handsome as he is, and the female lead skirt should be as short as she is short. Do you see? By the way, there is only one male lead, and that's me. Group 289-577-8897, Group 2. 20228384, 3 groups. 7051162994, full subscription group. 28182332, Alliance Leader Group. 7674979196, keywords of the novel. I have created countless illusions without pop-ups, I have created countless illusions for downloading the complete TXT collection, and I have created countless illusions for reading the latest chapters. Chapter 1. The unique world of practice with unique resources. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The unique world of practice with unique resources. On the barren land, a dilapidated road stretches straight to the horizon. Amidst the roar of the restless engine, a man wearing a dark red windbreaker rides a monster-like ferocious motorcycle through the wind. The man's facial lines are very firm, with a shallow scar on his right forehead, deep eyes, a high nose bridge, sun-dry and cracked lips, and rough and dark skin. However, this does not affect the overall hormonal impact he brings. Schwa. A tattered newspaper filled with English letters was crushed by rolling wheels. The tattered light sign in the distance suddenly collapsed with a loud bang. Suddenly, a large group of zombies running like wolves rushed out from the other side of the barren slope. The man's motorcycle suddenly crashed into 4 or 5 zombies, but its speed slowed down. Stopping the motorcycle, the man swiftly pulled out his machete from his waist and slashed left and right, splattering plasma everywhere. On his fierce face, he was full of bravery. Suddenly, 7 or 8 consecutive zombies fell under the man's knife. Suddenly, a zombie with significantly more developed muscles accelerated and broke through the man's defensive circle, biting him hard on the arm. The man let out a painful groan, then twisted his waist and smashed the zombie out heavily, with the knife in his hand following suit and chopping it vigorously. Click. Field Affairs. Field Affairs. Come here. Hurry up. What actor are you looking for? Is this even a special appointment? Such a simple scene is not good. It's a waste of time and energy. Change. 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 Behind a hidden sand dune, a shimmering wave suddenly appeared, and the entire crew, which was originally hidden, appeared like a phantom, one after another. Cameras, lighting, props, live broadcasting, and onlookers, as well as crew members, were all scattered around. Faced with the angry director, they dared not speak much. The middle-aged director with a protruding belly put down the adjustable cane in his hand and casually removed the spirit stone embedded in the cane to avoid causing a weak loss of spiritual energy. As the adjustment of the cane lost its function, the surrounding desert and roads all changed into a secluded but not sluggish path. In the distance, towering ancient buildings and a giant garden city hovering in mid-air could be seen, bringing with them a strange art style that was quaint, modern, sci-fi, and primitive, blending together. Young Shou, also known as the special actor wearing a dark red windbreaker, was supported by a seemingly innocent group performer, receiving strange gazes from around and silently leaving the filming range of the crew. If you haven't completed the shooting task, you naturally won't get paid for the film. 5 wisps of spirit bubble soup. Losing the character, if this movie qualifies for global chain cinemas in the future, Shou will lose the character that was substituted into the illusion based on the character, which can be said to be a loss of blood. Damn it, Brother Beast. This crew is playing with us, and it's not appropriate to take our group performances lives. Spending some spiritual energy to generate virtual beasts, they actually used wild captured zombies as props and asked you to play a scene of being bitten by zombies all over. This is not filming, it's deadly. Let's report them to the union. The group of actors who supported Shou said angrily, although they spoke hard, their voice was very low. Only Shou could hear it. Shou used rough, hydrotherapy techniques to massage the wounds on his arms and shoulders, using only a small amount of mana and struggling to extract most of the toxins. The originally dark complexion has also become slightly softer. I thought this was an opportunity, but I overthought it. There's not just me who wants this opportunity, Shou said with a sharp gaze. The group performer who supported Shou was taken aback for a moment, then looked at the poisonous blood squeezed out from Shou's wound, and suddenly understood. Using wild zombies and ferocious beasts as special props for the crew is almost a cost-saving convention for third-rate crews. If you really report to the union, it's like keeping a written document for record, and there won't be any actual investigation. How much does human life cost? Can it be compared to the preciousness of spiritual energy? In the era of great practice, everything must make way for obtaining more spiritual resources. Nevertheless, no crew would deliberately create difficulties for group performances and create difficulties for filming. So zombies and ferocious beasts that usually serve as special props are often those species that appear fierce but are actually not very harmful. The zombie that bit Shou was clearly a highly poisonous corpse. If Shou allowed those zombies to pounce on him, he would not only suffer some physical pain, but could actually die. This is someone deliberately teasing Shou. The reason, as Shou said, is to focus on his character. Even if the character he plays is just a small dragon suit that goes off as soon as he appears, it is still a clue character that leads to the subsequent story and has certain development value. The intangible benefits that may exist behind the scenes can make evil arise from the courage. Brother Beast. I guess it was done by those people from Housey. But Brother Beast. Housey is now in the 7th stage of Goe, we can't afford to provoke him, otherwise we'll endure it for now. The group performer muttered softly to Shou. Then he increased his volume and said, Brother Beast. Although the play is gone, I promised in the morning that I would take my brothers to Dodgy Street tonight. Do you think so? Shou paused in his footsteps for a moment, then pinched the dark pocket at the corner of his clothes before saying, as usual, but you are not allowed to stay overnight to avoid affecting everyone's cultivation. The expression on the group's face immediately came to life, transforming from a formulaic face to a flattering form. Brother Beast is open-minded, rest assured. Housey and his team are not authentic. Although we cannot take action, if this matter spreads, they will also be despised by their peers. They won't be happy for a few days. After speaking, the group performer let go of the hand that was originally tightly supporting Shou and rushed towards a group of colleagues who were eagerly looking at him, loudly conveying the good news. Shou sighed secretly. The character is gone, but this promise made in advance cannot save the cost of celebrating. He still needs to stay in this film and television city. Some people find it difficult to rely on their help to accomplish things, but if they sincerely think bad things, it is easy. Being at the bottom, what you see around you is inevitably like this. Rolling in the mud and chaos like this, perhaps until one day, like grassroots swordsman Pei Qing and inspirational fairy Wang Liying, with a small character, they achieved great enlightenment in the illusion generated by the movie. From then on, he soared to the sky and was no longer an ordinary person. Of course, it is even more likely that the spirit will be dissipated in one dark and fierce crew after another, and the essence will be dissipated in one Confucian tea room after another on Dodgy Street. At the end of his life, he had to go back to his hometown to run a small business. He completely gave up practice and forgot his dream of cloud. Spiritual energy is like a tide, surging and rolling, intense and unparalleled, but it is so unfair. Why is it that only popular stories can form an illusion that gathers spiritual energy, materials, and treasures? Film and television dramas are the best carriers for expressing and spreading stories, while also developing and utilizing illusion resources. Ordinary people find it extremely difficult to find a small role in the production team. However, those who come from prestigious backgrounds are more focused on spiritual energy and need to build the production team around themselves, not for spiritual energy or spiritual materials, only to obtain exclusive titles. Thinking of this, Shou did not blame the heavens or the people, but instead planned to go to Daji Street to explore the way and seek the help of a girl who practices water magic to do a waterbed treatment and eliminate all the remaining toxins in his body before proceeding. Damn it, I don't believe it anymore. As a time traveler, can I still keep running errands? If it weren't for the strict control and prohibition of storytelling in the form of writing novels, there would have been so many classic novels in the previous life that I casually referred to. A few of them would have become popular. Riding on the number 802 public shuttle, young Xiangjiang arrived at Daji Street in the 17th Garden City 3 minutes later and walked into the familiar Gyaro tea room, cleaning up the remaining poison. An hour later, the remaining poison was gone, and Shou walked out with great energy, becoming a hero again. Take out your phone, and according to the content that was conceived after calming your thoughts during the sage's time, edit a message and send it out, waiting for a reply. Xiangjiang emerged as a high-level special actor among the millions of group performances in the film and television city, of course not without background. Is it House's move? Shou wouldn't listen to a one-sided statement. Who is behind this? He must know. And then how to counterattack depends on Shou's methods and abilities. In the same city, some people see the tranquility of time, while others see the intricacies of the martial arts world. In the midst of fame and fortune, one must inevitably engage in intrigue. On the 27th, in the wasteland area, Shou's rental house is located here. As is well known, the entire Hangzhou film and television city has hundreds of different areas, big and small. Among these different areas, the wasteland-style area is the least desirable. Not only do we often hear the sound of spiritual explosions and the howling of ferocious beasts at night, but our living environment is also very simple and rough. The walls are leaking air, and sewage flows from the pipes. These are all normal decorations. The trouble is that we often have power outages, and there are also some crew members who use spiritual energy to create the apocalyptic catastrophe through illusion. People living here almost experience the end of the world every few days, which seriously affects their living mood. Those who are not firm enough in their moral beliefs and have been in such an environment for a long time, it is difficult not to experience mental breakdown. The only advantage is the cheap rent. Including the 60 square meters shared by the public, deducting the 35 square meters shared by the public, the monthly rent only requires 3 strands of spiritual energy. Located at the bottom of rental prices throughout the entire film and television city. Compared to those towering and ethereal immortal emperor cities, this price is very affordable. It is said that the price of each square meter in Xiangjiang city is as high as millions of strands of spiritual energy, and there is no market for it. As for renting a house, there is no rental business in Xiangjiang city. You don't need to rent what you can afford, you can't rent what you need. Carrying a bottle of black beer, Shou lazily lay on the dilapidated single sofa, legs stepping on the ruins and walls, gazing at the slowly falling sunset in the distance. The sky not far away suddenly turned red. In an instant, a huge fireball fell towards the entire city area. Subsequently, there was a huge howl of wind and the spread of light waves. This is the 7th time this month. Is the title of Savior so fragrant? Do you need to come every 3 to 5? Shou rubbed his almost blinded eyes, hoping that the production team would have a conscience and arrange for someone to come and deliver comfort products. In the era of great practice, spiritual energy is born in the realm of illusion, and only those with character identity can safely enter the realm and travel through it. People without identity who forcibly enter the illusion will be maliciously targeted by the entire illusion. Talking about a survival rate of 1 in 10,000 is a bit exaggerated. However, if there is often a lucky one among thousands of strong adventurers who can survive and walk out of the illusion, then even if the level of the illusion is low and the danger level is not high. And those who enter the illusion, after leaving the illusion, not only receive conventional rewards such as spiritual energy, spiritual materials, spiritual treasures, martial arts, spells, divine powers, etc., but also have a very small probability of receiving special titles. These titles will have various magical effects and bonuses. Some titles are more common and have a higher acquisition rate. And some titles are very rare, with extremely low acquisition rates. Among them, exclusive titles are the most rare. People with exclusive titles are often big shots or globally renowned nouveau riche, who are the elites among the elites. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. I Weird It Again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. I Weird It Again. Ding. The phone emits a clear buzzing sound. Shou glanced at the text message on his phone screen, then restrained and suppressed the anger and evil in his chest for the entire afternoon, accompanied by the fall of the huge fireball, boiling together. Blocking people's future, like killing parents. Since someone is in the first year of junior high school, don't blame them for being in the 15th. The wine that Shou invited is not that delicious. Shou silently recited, and then with a bitter face, he opened the small psychedelic array in the corner of the broken balcony and took out the 2 gas storage bottles hidden in the array. After thinking for a moment, he thought that with his own appearance, he might be able to talk to Sweet Sister about human feelings, so he put another bottle back in place and closed the psychedelic array properly. Xiangjiang Tea House is one of the old affordable tea houses on Daji Street. Boss Xiangjiang, she is also a prominent figure on Daji Street, with some influence in the small circle. In the hall where illusions and reality blend together, the group performers who have just returned from the cast are embracing the well-dressed ladies and drinking happily. The verbal gratitude to Shou has never stopped. The voices defending him against injustice also kept coming and going. In a corner of the music hall, Shou handed a gas storage bottle to Sweet Sister in pain. This chubby, amiable middle-aged woman quickly collected the gas cylinder handed over by Shou. I didn't inquire about Shou's purpose, as if I had already known the truth behind it. Only one bottle, I can only help you deal with one person, Sweet Sister said while playing with storing gas cylinders. Shou breathed a sigh of relief and nodded tacitly as he saw that Sweet Sister had no intention of asking for a price increase. Although The Road to Revenge is a third-rate film crew, the group of prop masters is relatively united, and I also know it. Sweet Sister, although you have everything in your hands, I, Shou, cannot let you help me take risks. This is not authentic. The implication is that as long as Sweet Sister comes forward to help, she can sort out the person who stole his role. Sweet Sister smiled even more satisfied when she saw Shou speaking beautifully and without any leakage. Remember, you owe me a favor. Also, I want to use all the short-lived ghosts you brought. Sweet Sister's eyes slightly turned red, revealing a greedy expression. Shou said, "This is not possible. They are all my brothers and sisters, dear relatives and friends." After a pause in the conversation, Shou added before Xiangjiang got angry, "You can smoke at most 3 times, and you have to make them happy too. Don't show any flaws. Sweet Sister has a demonic bloodline, although impure, she can still cultivate with the help of male essence." Not many people know about this matter, and Shou only found out by chance. The tea in Xiangjiang Tea House is delicious, but one should not drink it drunk, otherwise it is easy to drink it wrong. Xiangjiang counted the number of heads and nodded, "Sure, the account is even. Thank you, Sister Tian. Young Shou knew that he still took advantage of this matter. Sweet sister doesn't lack cultivation consumables in her daily life. Next to it, on a single TV screen, the latest news is being broadcasted. A series of popular news are being clearly broadcasted by the host. Young Shou also seemed to listen casually. Two of the more important pieces of news are the increasing prevalence of skinning, and the quarterly decrease in the success rate of film and television works, encouraging film and television workers to work harder. There has been no rush to rectify the chaos in the film and television industry. Xiangjiang. You said that nowadays there are more and more movies and TV dramas being filmed, and the investment cost is increasing. Why aren't they all good? Looking. Young Shoshin had 1,000 words, but in the end, she just shook her head. The content still doesn't work, I don't even have faith, I just want to make money, and talented people can't be stretched. Sweet sister tempted Young Shou to speak. After all, this is a group creative activity, and individual excellence is of no use. Only capital can win over talents from all aspects and complete the organization. Young Shou couldn't help but say something, but it was just a cliché. The money of those Xiuhao people is so easy to earn, and they can earn a lot if they do it casually. Who cares? As an outsider in the circle, Xiangjiang naturally complained. Young Shou did not refute. Although what sweet sister said is biased towards lay people, it may not necessarily be without reason. Besides, what is the correlation between the decline in industry performance and his low-level small contract? He is just a slacker, the only character with a name and surname to this day, and he was even taken away by someone. Without a truly fixed character, even if a movie or TV series becomes an illusion, he is not qualified to enter the illusion and collect rewards. Sweet sister. Thank you so much this time. I'll leave first. The fish raised at home haven't been fed yet. Young Shou stood up and said to Tianjia. It's almost midnight at night, and Yang Shou's practice of taking qi at noon can only extract a little essence from the sun and the yin at noon every day. It only provides little nourishment for cultivation, but it is also a fixed income that cannot be wasted. Sweet sister cast a seductive glance and said, Xiaoyang. The freshness period for men is also very short, and it will be oily in a few years. As sister said before, you should consider carefully. With sister around, I guarantee that you will enter grade A before the age of 30. Don't worry. Yang Shou walked away, afraid he couldn't help but turn back. Leaving behind a group of happy performances, Yang Shou walked out of the tea room alone. In the tea room, several group performers who noticed Yang Shou leaving all showed mocking expressions. I still walked too fast and had an unstable foundation. I thought it was a bit related, but being a special envoy was amazing. I stumbled, said a group performer. Another group performer followed suit and said sourly, if his cultivation is only at the Gui level and 4th level, and he is not much different from us, he dares to use a special contract brand. He deserves to be punished. Don't talk about him, let's drink. The crowd raised their glasses one after another. By the way, he won't have left the bill unfinished, will he? Grass. Go ask. Immediately, two group performers split up and went straight to the counter, while the other chased after Yang Shou. After quickly confirming that Yang Shou had paid the bill, they all returned without making a sound. On the late-night streets, besides those who come out to practice at night, there are also ghosts and monsters that come out to move around at night. Yang Shou tightened his tight-fitting clothes and had a full level of 10 magic powers, slowly mobilizing and releasing them from his body, startling the wandering souls and wild ghosts away. Practicing from level Gui to level A can be considered as building a foundation in front of the path. That is to say, cultivators who have not broken through level A and entered the hidden Yuan realm cannot be considered true cultivators. Even so, the true expressiveness of the 10th level of the Gui level is not considered a tug of war. It is indeed very effective to scare those wandering ghosts who have little reliance. Back home, Shou adjusted his condition before midnight and carefully pulled a little dew from the moonlight into his eyebrows. Half of Shou's body was suddenly covered with frost. The thin strand of magic running inside him at the same time finally broke through the critical point and entered the first level of the Ren level. Before entering the true cultivation hidden element, the cultivation from level Gui to level A was only the accumulation of magic power. Once accumulated, it will naturally break through. So don't look at Shou being in his 20s, he is still only at the first level of Ren level, thinking that the cultivation in the foundation building stage is very difficult. In fact, as long as there are sufficient resources, all the foundation building exercises can be completed in less than 100 days. Those cultivators who come from wealthy families often complete the foundation construction under the guidance of their parents and elders before the age of 3, and even retain some innate vitality, which greatly benefits their cultivation. At this moment, Shou did not have time to feel the specific difference between Gui level and Ren level. He only felt that his weak magic was rapidly crowding to grab the key-shaped birthmark in his heart. At the same time, almost instinctively, he stood up and grabbed the door handle of the room. Then he opened the door. The originally lightweight door now weighs over 1,000 pounds. A voice that seemed to have an inner sense was asking where he wanted to go. Subconsciously, Shou recalled his past life. Then he opened the door. White light enveloped Shou's entire body. In an instant, day and night were reversed. Shou looked up and saw high-rise buildings in the distance and dirty alleys nearby. There is no floating garden island, no dazzling and magnificent immortal city, no true cultivation of flying imperial weapons, no illusion materials that occasionally fall and scatter from the void, and no faint spiritual ripples floating in the air. This seems to be a plain and ordinary world. Am I really back? Shou looked at the dimly colored key-shaped birthmark in his palm, which had a strong sense of unreality. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. New books for follow-up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. New books for follow-up. My waste paper bridge is back. Have you ever thought about waste paper after losing it for a week? What? I really want to. Can't you eat well or sleep well? Thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Waste paper will strive to thank everyone for their kindness. New book period, everyone understands. There are recommended tickets. Collect. Monthly pass. Throw it all over, don't be afraid of too much waste paper. Also, following up on reading is quite crucial. Everyone doesn't want to waste their new books on the street, so they can only go to the tea house to work and support their families. In summary, in short. Please support us all. Kneeling thanks for 360-degree rotation and sliding. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Xiangjiang in 1985. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Xiangjiang in 1985. Ah hey. Are you from the mainland? Are you rich? A skinny and flashy man rushed out of the back door of a store in a disheveled manner, quickly blocking the back door with his hand, turning his head to see Shou, and asked him. The trembling door panel and the loud knocking sound proved that he was being chased. Hual Yorong, you can't run, wait. The woman behind the door seemed to be a woman, but her voice couldn't help but appear fierce at this moment. Guangdong East. Shou asked the pork rib man. The pork ribs man's trash can completely block the back door, his dry chest heaving and panting heavily. Xiangjiang. Mainland boy. Are you foolish when you travel to the sea? Said the pork rib man. Although Shou doesn't know Cantonese, the pork rib man can listen to Mandarin. Excuse me, how many years is it now? Shou asked the pork rib man. Then he added, it's best to be able to speak Mandarin, which means tell me in Mandarin. The pork rib man made an internationally recognized gesture to young Shou. Pick it up. It turns out it's cute. Young Shou's gaze was slightly cold, and his smile was kind. The man with ribs looked down at the blade that accurately cut through his floral shirt, but did not damage his chest at all. The cold chill seemed to be transmitted through the blade, and sweat immediately burned down his back. Boss. Don't shake your hands. Hey. Isn't it just time? I said. It's now the year 1985 in the Western calendar, July 7th at 10:09 a.m. It's already 10. Where are the big shots? The pork ribs man tried to pull a friendship, and the inexperienced Hong Kong Poo, under the threat of the blade, became much smoother. Yang Shou put away his knife and asked calmly, "Do you have money?" The man with ribs stiffened his face. Then I saw Yang Shou again and casually cut open the iron bucket on the side. Yes. Yes. Then quickly took out 3 red 20 yuan bills and a pile of coins from his pocket. Yang Shou took the 60 yuan Hong Kong paper, took 2 steps, and then turned around to accept the coins as well. "Boss, at least leave a few yuan for the bus." The pork rib man pleaded. Yang Shou didn't look back and said casually, "Your body is too weak. Walking more can help exercise your body." As I walked out of the alley, I gradually fell into the hustle and bustle. The noisy sound instantly seemed to drag the entire mind into this era. Noisy, crowded, and noisy, the towering buildings in the distance intertwine and blend with the bustling fireworks in front of us, creating a unique charm of this era. However, Yang Shou only felt noisy and had no sense of immersion. Although it's a pity that I haven't returned to the time point before my time travel, this era is also good, at least for me now, it's the best choice. Yang Shou clenched his fist, and the birthmark in his palm was no longer hot. However, he instinctively knew that as long as he held the door handle of any door again, with just a thought, he could travel back to that magnificent world of cultivation. This also means that Yang Shou has opened up the passage between the world of cultivation and the Xiangjiang River in 1985, and can come and go at any time. In this era, Xiangjiang's film industry has begun to take off, not only those outstanding stars and actors, but also many behind-the-scenes workers such as directors, cinematographers, soundtracks, lighting, martial artists, etc., are all talented. It is precisely because of the large and excellent behind-the-scenes group that Xiangjiang's film and television industry dominated Asia in the 1980s and 1990s was built as a whole. For me, this is a huge treasure trove. As long as I make good use of the excellent environment here, I can definitely create many illusions centered around me. However, Xiangjiang is now forming a production team, which may not be as extravagant and expensive as in later generations, but the cost is still considerable. Moreover, excellent top talents cannot be recruited solely with money. Unless the price offered cannot be refused by the other party. As a complete stranger, I can only use capital to enter the group and perform a game of bringing capital into the group several decades in advance. Thinking of money, Yang Shou looked at the 3 Hong Kong papers in his hand and felt that with the level of cultivation in the world, it should not be difficult to imitate. Ha! Crossing 2 realms, there's no way to make money. Do you have to bury a mine for yourself? Yang Shou immediately shook off that absurd idea. Strolling freely on this unfamiliar street. From Kowloon to Hong Kong Island, Yang Shou took a bus and swam a shallow lap. The borrowed Hong Kong paper was naturally spent cleanly. In addition to feeling the atmosphere of this era and gradually integrating oneself into it, Yang Shou is also organizing his thoughts. First of all, it's about making money. This is not difficult. In the world of cultivation, there are many jewelry and jade pieces made in imitation of natural environments, all of which are made by cultivators' methods. In this world, with the current level of technology, it should not be possible to detect authenticity. I will first produce a batch to exchange for original capital before making a decision. Whether to continue operating the relevant industry chain or switch professions, and then make a decision. Then it's about pulling the production team, with me as the protagonist, to shoot an excellent martial arts or immortal martial arts movie, bring it back to the world of cultivation, and upload it to the cinema. This is the most crucial. Since he is making martial arts and immortal martial arts movies, Shou Leaguai is the first choice. At the current time, Shou Leaguai's skills in this area are still good, mainly because he should have a mature team. If I make more concessions, I can maximize his motivation. Hu Jinquan, Chu Yuan, and other older generation martial arts film directors can also be used as candidates. Although their team has outdated connections, as long as they tell the story well, it may not be impossible to succeed. This is a short-term goal. In the long run, in order to maximize the film and television resources of this era, money, influence, and connections are indispensable. Simply throwing money will only lead to a bunch of bad movies. Whether in later generations or in the world of cultivation, experience and lessons have been used to prove this. Those who shout about art are actually trying to make money. Don't have too high expectations for their integrity. Holding a knife in one hand and a ticket in the other can ensure their creative enthusiasm. Ding ding ding. Accompanied by the last bus stopping at the station, Yang Shou got off the bus and stood in front of the small platform that was already deserted at night. Looking around, he felt a surge of pride. Two worlds, two eras, borrowing from each other, will eventually achieve success for me. That towering immortal emperor city, I will have my own unique one. Taking a long breath, Yang Shou searched for an abandoned Tang building, found the door handle, reached out and grabbed it, pulling hard. White light flashed by, and Yang Shou disappeared into the fragrant river for 8 or 5 years under this night. In an instant, Yang Shou returned to the film and television city in the world of cultivation, in his own room. In the phone placed on the bed, there were over a dozen short messages and 3 missed calls. Look at the time, it's exactly the same as when Yang Shou went to Xiangjiang. The time flow of two worlds is consistent. This also means that if I want to go to either side and leave for a long time, I need to make arrangements for things on the other side first. Fortunately, if one enters an illusion, regardless of the size of the illusion, the length of stay, or the specific duration consumed, it is only 1 hour. Otherwise, I would just enter an illusion, and by the time I come out, the film industry on the other side of Xiangjiang may have already begun to decline. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Translation and Translation, What is Bringing Talents into the Group? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Translation and Translation, What is Bringing Talents into the Group? The text message was sent by Sweet Sister. Housie has already been dealt with. He came out to fool around and made an appointment with the demon cultivator of the devouring element technique. It's not his luck. Without cultivation and a broken foundation, Housie will have no intention of practicing in the future unless he hits his luck with his golden finger. Without showing any signs, Yang Shou avenged himself with 1 arrow. Dealing with a mere Housie, he doesn't need to take the lead and shout and kill himself. Yang Shou did not pay attention to the follow-up of this matter. That unimportant movie character, and who ended up getting cheaper, he no longer cares at all. Now that Baoshan is in his hands, where does he have the heart to pay attention to these things? Organizing the plan, purchasing and reselling materials, it took 2 days. Later, Yang Shou revealed to his familiar colleagues and agent, Wang Gu, that he wanted to go on a trip to relax and try his luck at Miaokong Mountain. He also wanted to see if he could meet a beautiful nun who happened to be out of the Guandu red dust disaster. After being ruined by the other party, they left behind hundreds of thousands of strands of spiritual energy and wanted to sever ties with him. After dealing with trivial matters, Yang Shou carried a backpack and opened the door, walking into the fragrant river that had been around for 85 years. Xiangjiang is not big, but Yang Shou, who has no foundation, would undoubtedly find it quite difficult to find a suitable director in such a small Xiangjiang and have him cooperate honestly to help set up filming. Without a foundation or identity, if a huge sum of money is invested, there is a high probability that the money will run out and the show will not start filming yet. Young Shou was not interested in following the detours taken by the coal bosses. Of course, Young Shou could choose to put the knife around the director's neck and force him to help. However, once the other party loses motivation subjectively, it is very likely to affect the quality of the film. If the movie he takes back doesn't even qualify for admission to the cinema, Yang Shou would be wasting his efforts. Not only that, but it also damages reputation. Regardless of the world, a bad reputation is a huge loss. So, before gaining his own power, Yang Shou had to take another turn in the middle. Finding someone to help build a bridge, so that the director and crew members not only have to focus on filming, but also dare not casually reach out, has ruined the atmosphere of the entire crew and affected the production. In view of this, Yang Shou adopted a simpler approach to connect the lines of heaven and earth in this era. If there are difficulties, please gather and organize a group of leisure personnel with Xiangjiang characteristics to help. Although people hate dogs, this thing is a powerful medicine at a special stage. Shit. In the dimly lit office, the light of the match flashed by and lit a cigarette without any label. Yang Shou shook the match in his hand and extinguished the flames. I have an idea. Yang Shou sat on the sofa with a big golden knife, squinting his eyes and exhaling a mouthful of smoke. Then he couldn't help but cough hard a few times and naturally extinguished the cigarette in the ashtray. The skinny middle-aged man sitting opposite Yang Shou watched his performance expressionlessly, his gaze fixed on the cigarette he had extinguished for a few seconds. Sometimes smart people tend to think more. Having knowledge can sometimes become a hindrance. Do you think Su Leiguai should be the director, Huang Zhan should be the soundtrack, Haizai should be the supporting voice, Qingxia and Fu Hong should be the female lead, and all the gold medals and green leaves that can be arranged should be arranged to create a big play, mainly involving elements such as martial arts, immortal chivalry, comedy, love, suspense, horror, etc. The male lead should be as handsome as the male lead, and the female lead skirt should be as short as possible. Do you think there is any exaggeration? Yang Shou asked the skinny middle-aged man sitting across from him. Although Yang Shou is a performer, he still has some acting skills that come close to him. So at this moment, he is portraying a young playboy who comes from the south. Being arrogant, domineering, and looking down on others is not a true portrayal, but it is in line with people's ideological positioning. The middle-aged man stood up expressionless and made a gesture of inviting guests out. 5 minutes have already arrived, thank you for your visit. As a prominent figure in the club, his behavior has been very polite. At least at first glance, he looks quite gentlemanly. Clack. A coarse cloth pocket was thrown onto the table. At least a dozen crystal-clear trinkets spilled out of the unbuttoned pocket. But the pocket still bulged, and the little things still inside were at least 10 times more spilled. Middle-aged students have slightly contracted pupils. With his eyesight, he could tell at a glance that these were all diamonds, and each one was over 2 carats. In 1985, there is a saying that artificial diamonds are not absent. But this crystal-clear quality makes it difficult to believe that they are artificial. Let's talk about it again. Yang Shou's smile suddenly became a bit shy, without the look of being as outspoken as before. This 2-level reversal actually makes the character image fuller. It has achieved a complex effect of, I just want you to see through my bluff, but suspect that I am really criticized. Okay. How do you want to chat? The middle-aged man unbuttoned his suit and sat down in a more comfortable position, no longer restless like before. Come out and run, make money. Not embarrassing. Is it okay for me to be the male lead? Yang Shou adjusted his posture and arrogantly played with his fingernails, casually saying, without looking at the bag of diamonds on the table. The middle-aged man didn't seem to be watching either, he was just paying attention mentally and clearly being dragged away. underestimating the value of that pocket of diamonds. Thinking at the same time, is there also a diamond mine in the north? With a slightly tilted posture, he stared at Yang Shou like a wolf and said, "There's no problem, but are you not afraid of losing money?" He didn't say anything. He's not in the film industry and has no relationship with Su Leaguai or Fotzi. Film companies can be registered at any time. People can also arrange to go down and ask. Xianjiang's face, Xiangjiang, is not something that everyone can refuse. Ha ha ha. Yang Shou looked up and laughed out loud. Do I look like someone who lacks money? Yang Shou asked. The middle-aged man said, "It really doesn't look like it." Although Yang Shou's attire seemed somewhat outdated to him. But with his level of vision, he certainly wouldn't believe that a person's wealth and status are determined by their clothing. The investment cost belongs to me, and the box office belongs to you. What was the highest box office record in Xiangjiang last year? Yang Shou asked. The middle-aged man thought for a moment, then picked up the nearby Big Brother and dialed a phone. Afterwards, he gave feedback to Yang Shou, approximately 29 million, with some moisture, but not much. Yang Shou clapped his hand and said, "Okay, let's calculate it at 30 million. If our movie grosses over 30 million yuan at the box office, not only will all the box office profits belong to you, but I will also give you an additional 30 million yuan worth of jade." Yang Shou's arrogance directly suppressed the middle-aged man. The Xiang family has a considerable amount of wealth, but it is not about keeping their mouths shut for tens of millions. Yang Shou is very calm at the moment. This so-called jewelry diamond, with Yang Shou's spiritual energy, can be exchanged for a large burlap bag, of any quality. Emerald, chicken blood red, and sheep fat white are all available. The color is natural, the feel is smooth, and it's even more authentic than real. Xiang stared at Yang Shou and suddenly thought of another possibility, then became entangled and struggled. This jewelry treasure is very dazzling, I'm afraid I won't be able to swallow it. Seeking follow-up reading, seeking monthly tickets, seeking recommendations, seeking collections. Various requests. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Wound Bounce, seeking reading in monthly pass. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Wound Bounce, seeking reading in monthly pass, watching Xiang 13's face turn red and white, as if holding a singing party, Yang Shou secretly found it interesting. Yang Shou pretends to be a god and a ghost here at Xiang 13, which belongs to effective disguise. Because Xiang 13 has channels and sources of information, he knows some ambiguous insider information. If you directly find Mr. Su to disguise yourself, the effect won't work. Before the huge capital and traffic rushed into the entertainment industry and launched a bold campaign to capture territory, directors were just directors. Standing at the forefront of the times, there is no need to deliberately belittle anyone, but there is also no need to mythologize anyone. Yang Shou has a knife in his hand, knows magic and martial arts, but his level is too low. In fact, when he really plays it, he may not be more powerful than a few handguns. Man Chong Manda is nothing more than giving Xiangjiang a strange and fierce bandit. So he needs to take advantage of the situation from left to right, making things mysterious. Even after crossing the bloody primitive accumulation of capital, the early deceit and fraud of the farming forces are still inevitable. What? Are you afraid? Yang Shou looked at Xiang Shursan with a smile on his face, completely gaining the upper hand from his momentum. If I'm afraid, I can go to another place. You're not the only choice. As for this bag of diamonds, just treat it as a toll, and if you pay, it's better not to get in the way. Yang Shou's gaze became dangerous. He has seen blood before. People have never killed anyone, but Yang Shou has killed many of those zombies, ferocious beasts, and magical plants in the wild. If it weren't for relying on hard work and relying solely on one's own strength to obtain resources, it would be wishful thinking to reach the level of Ren at the age of 20. Xiang 13 is not a person without courage or courage. After weighing, he spoke up and said, I don't care what you want to do, I don't know anything about it. I'm just a bridge. After you achieve your goal, let's get together and part ways. After speaking, he pushed the diamond back from the table. We, the Xiang family, have come forward to help with the matter. If you take the things back, they are all Chinese people. It's only natural for them to contribute money and effort, Xiang 13 said boldly. Yang Shou said, it's just diamonds. There's still a lot of them on De Mao's side that can't be dug up for hundreds of years. Now we have some business dealings with De Mao at home, and this thing is not lacking. Our family is piled up in a mountain. I've received your feelings, but you also have a big family to raise, so we can't make you feel cold. Then end this sensitive topic and return to the main topic. Arrange a place for me to live, find a few more people, teach me Xiangjiang dialect well, help me familiarize myself with the environment here, contact Su Leiguai well, and bring him to meet me. Yang Shou became the shaking hands shopkeeper. After putting in a lot of effort and fabricating his identity, isn't the purpose of finding a tool person to help him handle the trivial matters? Will Xiang 13 doubt Yang Shou's identity? Isn't what Xiang Shisan is holding in his hand real gold and silver? At least in this era, these diamond jewelry are real. With these real gold and silver endorsements, Yang Shou's identity, if not as stable as Mount Tai, can at least frighten Xiang 13-1. When Xiang 13 realized that he had been played with, how could Yang Shou still remain in today's embarrassing state? Xiang 13 is very considerate. He has prepared all the luxury cars, mansions, drivers, and beauties for Yang Shou, but he is nowhere to be seen. There is currently no news of what Yang Shou entrusted him to do. Yang Shou was well aware that Xiang 13 was discussing countermeasures with his brothers and uncles at home. Yang Shou disguised himself as such an identity, although he temporarily intimidated Xiang 13, it also made the other party shrink their hands and tails, afraid to let go of their courage and act directly. After all, this is 1985, not 1995. Many things, before the dust settled, Xiang 13 did not open his God's perspective. Of course, if Yang Shou traveled to a time point of 95 years, many things would not be so easy to unfold. At that point in time, the entertainment industry in Xiangjiang was already thriving, with capital from Taiwan, Southeast Asia, Singapore, and even the Western world dominating here. If Yang Shou were holding some jewelry and jade in his hand, he would think he could make a name for himself in the entertainment industry. That would be too foolish and naive. Xiang Shisan will eventually enter the entertainment industry. Although he doesn't remember when his Yongxing was founded, he couldn't have made a last-minute decision just by smelling it. I found him as a tool to help me form a production team, recruit talents, and control the situation while deterring all aspects of the staff, which was a good start. Yang Shou did not seek pleasure, but constantly familiarized himself with, understood, and integrated into the Xiangjiang of this era through various forms. There is no internet popularization, and even mobile phones are only expensive cell phones. The only way to understand external information is undoubtedly to read books and newspapers, or else to delve into the market and listen to some messy gossip. Information extraction and absorption are extremely lagging and limited, making them inconvenient. In a black sedan, Su Ku was covered with a black cloth, and two muscular men sandwiched him in the center. The sturdy firearm pressed against Su Ku's waist, making him afraid to move casually. "Who is your boss?" Su Ku sorted out his chaotic emotions and asked with difficulty. No one in the car responded. Su Kadao said, "You want me to make a movie? I don't make money from making movies. I know there is a director who makes movies quickly, well, and earns money. Otherwise, we can discuss with your boss and find him." Squeak. The car braked steadily. Su Ku was pulled out of the car and took off his headscarf. Yang Shou and Xiang Shisan stood at the entrance of the villa, smiling and welcoming Su Ku. Su Ke doesn't know Yang Shou or Xiangjiang, but looking around without any ambush swordsman, it doesn't seem like he's seeking revenge or taking his life. This gave Su Ke a great sigh of relief. Welcome. Welcome. Long term. Long term. Long term. Yang Shou looked at the future number 1 tool man, with a bright smile on his face. The broken Xiangjiang dialect also became much more pleasant under the background of this smile. Su Ke was pointed at with a gun and forcibly abducted with his head covered. It is impossible to say that there is no resentment. But facing Yang Shou's smiling face and the burly men around him with bulging waists, he could only reluctantly squeeze out a skin and flesh smile and say, "Sir, what advice do you have?" He speaks Mandarin and it is very standard, without any Hong Kong flavor. The smile on Yang Shou's face became even more sincere. "I'm looking for you to make a movie. What else can I do? Is it difficult to seek revenge on you because you killed someone?" Yang Shou laughed and made a joke for future generations. Su Ke's expression stiffened, and his smile became even more awkward. Yang Shi grabbed Su Ke's arm. Su Ke, who was 35 years old at the time, was in his prime. Although he had a beard, he still looked very young, giving the overall impression of being more alert and eccentric. "I have an idea. I want to shoot a fantasy blockbuster, with me as the male lead and any other actors you choose. In theory, there is no upper limit on the investment amount, and you can shoot as well as you can. Don't worry about wasting money, let alone worry. Because I didn't shoot well, I was cut into more than 10 pieces by Xiang Laoda's arrangement." Su Ke's expression became even more stiff, his smile almost solidified on his face, turning into a mold. "What do you think of the legend of Shou Mountain? Big IP, and the stories are already made." Yang Shou still remembers that Su Ke once filmed The Legend of Shou Mountain. Although it is said that the profits were not very good, it was hailed as the peak of fairy tale movies. Anyway, Yang Shou didn't go for the box office, as long as the movie classics have the value of a fantasy. Think about it, the box office of Journey to the West is also very poor, but who can deny its classic level? If it weren't for the irreplaceable value of Xingye's performance, Yang Shou would have wanted to roll up his sleeves and bring out the big story of Journey to the West in advance. Su Ke looked at Yang Shou with sorrow and anger. If it weren't for his fear of being chopped to death, he would definitely point at Yang Shou's nose and curse, "Pock Street." Just 2 years ago, he raised a large sum of money to film New Shou Mountain Swordsman, which grossed 1.5 million yuan at the box office. Jiahe Company lost a large amount of money and directly blacklisted him. Xiang 13 clearly knew better than Yang Shou, so after coughing on the side, he said, "This matter. I'll discuss it again. The story from Shou Mountain is very good, but wait a little longer." End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Crew pull up, seeking follow-up, seeking monthly tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Crew pull up, seeking follow-up, seeking monthly tickets. Yang Shou did not persist. He has also had a mouth-watering experience, and the legend of Shou Mountain was not his first choice. The world of Shu Shanzhuan is very good, with a complex and magnificent background. There is also a lot of content that can be explored. If an illusion is generated, it must be a great treasure trove. But the protagonist's halo is not sharp in the legend of Shou Mountain. Yang Shou realized that he had no experience in exploring illusions, so he should be more stable in the first place. So Yang Shou only mentioned the key point next. "I have 2 projects here. The first one is The Ghost of the Beautiful Girl, which tells the story of the ghost girl Xiaoqian and the scholar Ning Caichen's unrequited relationship. The second one is The Green Snake, which is taken from the story of the white snake but unfolds the story from the perspectives of the green snake and Fa Hai. Director Su, what do you think?" Yang Shou made a big move and directly brought out Su Ke's later 2 classic supernatural fantasy films, allowing Su Ke to choose. Although Li Bihua's original work Green Snake will not be published until 1986, it is not a big problem. A serious person looking at a green snake, who is passionate about love, and who is the snake spirit wriggling back and forth. Isn't it all about seeing the Hemingway and the dragon? As soon as Yang Shou thought of his portrayal of Fa Hai, pointing at the Tathagata in his robe and shouting, "Demon, I can tell at a glance that it's not human," he felt a deep sense of satisfaction. The ghost of a beautiful girl. The green snake. Su Ke did not have the sudden onset of sexual intercourse with Yang Shou as he had imagined. Instead, he shook his head with professional skills and said, "Director Li Hanxiang has already filmed the story of Nie Xiaoqian, and it is difficult for me to surpass the classics even if I shoot it. As for the green snake. To be frank, the story of the white snake is too deeply ingrained in people's hearts. Focusing on the perspectives of the green snake and Fa Hai is not a good choice." Great. Director Su Ke disguises himself from a distance. Before Yang Shou could speak, Xiang 13 signaled first. As Su Ke was entering the reception room, he immediately felt two cold gazes from behind. He turned his head and saw two black-clad men pointing out their black star pistols, which had already been aimed at his vest. "Director Su. We are not good at convincing people with words. I hope you can understand this," Xiang 13 said to Su Ke with a gentlemanly smile. The current Xiang 13 has not yet transformed into a qualified businessman. So in his values, problems that can be solved with a gun will never waste his tongue. Su Ke's cold sweat came down in an instant. What kind of bullshit professionalism, where is life important? Then let's take pictures of the ghost of the beautiful girl. Although director Li Hanxiang's films are very classic, I have confidence in surpassing them, Su Ke firmly said. Yang Shou knew that pointing a gun at Su Ke while filming was not authentic, but there was no other way. After all, he didn't want to waste time on all kinds of arguments. Su Ke was reluctant from the beginning, so he secretly shifted the blame. Yang Shou understood and pretended not to know. Xiang 13's threats and strikes can be extremely useful. Watching director Su Ke, he immediately became full of enthusiasm. As for Yang Shou, he borrowed the power of Xiang 13 just to save trouble and convenience. Okay, since we have the direction, let's talk about actors. The female protagonist Nie Xiaoqian, I suggest using Taiwanese newcomer Wang Zuxian. She is about 17 or 18 years old this year, and Mr. Xiang is going to solve it. Is that okay? Yang Shou asked Xiang Shisan. Upon hearing the words, Taiwan Island, Xiang Shisan immediately became alert and wondered what the unknown, Wang Zuxian, actually came from and whether he had any special identity. Although he didn't want to intervene, he still nodded and agreed. The former members of the Xiang family were mostly from the Nationalist Army, and they did not follow them to Taiwan Island. Choosing to stay in Xiangjiang was almost equivalent to cutting off Taiwan Island. I have one more candidate. If the budget is enough, can we hire island actress Akira Nakasone? Her ethereal and aloof demeanor makes her perfect for playing the role of a beautiful female ghost. Director Su Ke spoke weakly, with a low volume and a low profile. This is not. It's also possible. Yang Shou originally wanted to oppose it, after all, it was preconceived, and Wang Zuxian's portrayal of Nie Xiaoqian was too deeply ingrained in people's hearts. But upon careful consideration, if he had played Ning Kaichen, he might not have followed the original storyline, so it would be possible to switch to a female lead role. So, both Wang Zuxian and Nakasone Akira have been brought here. Everyone is an adult now, we need to learn everything, Yang Shou waved his hand and said. As the investor and representative of capital inflows, Yang Shou only needs to propose ideas, and how to improve and properly implement them is the responsibility of the director and screenwriter. Nie Xiaoqian only has one. Su Ke murmured softly. Then I felt a sinister intent lurking behind me. So this little murmur ultimately didn't cause any waves. Also, find a way to integrate the two characters Ning Kaichen and Yan Qixia. As the absolute male lead in this play, I don't just need to be a weak scholar, it's better to be both civil and military, Yang Shou demanded. Although Yang Shou has never entered a fantasy realm, he still reads and subscribes to some online bloggers' experiences and guide details in his daily life. It has been mentioned that the identity of the illusion not only endows the walking identity of the illusion world, but also gives temporary memory and abilities to specific important characters. And these temporary memories and abilities, if exercised and learned to a certain extent, can be partially brought out of the illusion without consuming the reward pool. That is to say, why waste the opportunity to indulge in fantasies for free? Okay. Originally, in Pu Songling's original work, Ning Kaichen was not a weak scholar. The prototype of the tree demon, the Yiksha monster, was simply beheaded by Ning Kaichen with a sword. This time, Su Kashue obediently accepted without refuting. As for Ning Caichen's lack of gentleness, how should the story unfold? That's about Su Ke and the unjust screenwriters he hasn't recruited yet. There's no need for Yang Shou to worry. As for Su Ke's mention of the tree demon, this change has already appeared in Li Hanxiang's version of the Ghost of the Beautiful Girl, and is not considered Su Ke's original work. Yang Shou also does not feel that his blind command is delaying the classics. Firstly, classics are always created by humans. So talent is the most important thing, stories are just carriers. Excellent talents can tell a story that was originally dull and moving. But the person who pulls the crotch can make a very good story poorly. Secondly, even if this version of the Ghost of the Beautiful Girl was damaged and brought back without landing in the cinema, there was no illusion. Yang Shou can also choose to put it on hold for a period of time before finding the original team to remake. Just kidding, he's already cheating and doesn't dare to try boldly. With funding, there is a director leading the way. The production team of Yang Shou's Ghost of a Beautiful Girl is rapidly building. One of the female protagonists, Wang Zuxian, has been invited to Xiangjiang by Xiang 13, along with her mother. As for Akira Nakamori, it's a bit difficult. The Japanese entertainment industry has always been self-interested and has not fully developed its own Xiangjiang movies, which do not have much appeal to Japanese stars. Nakasone Akira is just as red, and ignoring it is normal. However, where is the money to negotiate a business that cannot be reached? Looking ahead at the sweet operation of the future, one should not assume that there are people that capital cannot hire. So, at the instruction of Yang Shou and with the help of Xiang Shisan, Akira Nakasone set aside a month's time to come to Xiangjiang to shoot the movie, The Ghost of a Beautiful Girl. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. My Movies, Seeking Monthly Tickets, Seeking Follow-Up Reading. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 My Movies, Seeking Monthly Tickets, Seeking Follow-Up Reading. The idol is in place, and Su Ke's motivation has also increased significantly. Just the role of Nia Xiaoqian, but it was still forcefully handed over by Yang Shouqiang to Wang Zuxian, a newcomer who had only made one movie. Akira Nakamori plays Nia Xiaozhua, the younger sister of Nia Xiaoqian. The reasons given are also very sufficient. Who made Nakasone Akira only have a 1-month shelf life? Su Leiguai is not Wang Pengzi. Giving Wang Pengzi a month is more than enough, maybe he will have 3 children. Wang Pengzi is still inexperienced and his performance has always been unstable. If he makes a good film, he will have to reward himself with several bad films. Before he has abundant resources, Yang Shou will not consider using Wang Pengzi. Playing around in the crew like this, Wang Zuxian had just turned 18. Wang's mother kept a close eye on her, and the little girl had a tender face. Even Yang Shou was a loach, and it was difficult to find any gaps. Not to mention Akira Nakamori. She was very polite when talking to her, looking at Yang Shou with confused and innocent eyes. Yang Shou showed a little impatience, so she bowed and apologized. It's completely like a monk knocking on a wooden fish. Only thumping thumping, no thumping thumping. I'm not interested in female celebrities. My orientation is towards those female cultivators and fairies who have become hermits and have been groomed. Yang Shou comforted himself as he held the script and sat on a bamboo chair, feeling bored. Of course, Yang Shou is not always neglecting his duties. In addition to following Su Ke's commands in daily filming, Yang Shou also learned some directing skills from Su Ke. Although it is not possible to achieve it overnight, it also lays the foundation ahead of time. In Xiangjiang in 1985, there will be many opportunities for Yang Shou to practice. In the world of cultivation, a good director is also a sought-after opportunity. Although Yang Shou had imposed many restrictions and arrangements on Su Ke's creations before filming began, he completely followed Su Ke's command and never acted recklessly or provided opinions. Of course, the main plot was arranged and filmed by Su Ke, which roughly met Yang Shou's expectations and wishes. When it comes to plot arrangements, it's hard not to mention the screenwriter Su Ke hired. This guy is also a madman, and he accepts all the demands he makes from Yang Shou. Then, in just 1 or 2 days, he came up with a wild script and was executed by Su Ke. After being executed 3 or 4 times in this way, the tentative script of the production team was finally in place. The entire production team has completely set the pace and started steadily advancing. The wrongly accused screenwriter Su Ke found was Xiangjiang, who had previously collaborated with him on the new Shou Mountain Swordsman. As for the screenwriter Wang Jiji, who was originally the ghost of a beautiful woman, currently has no friendship with Su Ke and cannot come to help Su Ke take over. Su Ke will not eagerly send this good way to make a fortune. However, it's okay. In the 1980s and 1990s, most of the time in Xiangjiang's filming, the screenwriters were mere tools. The director and those top actors are the first creators. The total shooting time took over 2 months, and the post-production took over a month, almost 4 months later. For 4 months, due to the lack of weak free spiritual energy intake in the cultivation world, Yang Shou's realm was stuck at the first level of the Ren level and remained motionless. Until the moment he received the complete version of the sample, Yang Shou finally breathed a sigh of relief. Su Ke's network is good. Huang Zhan still made the music, and his brother sang the theme song, directly elevating the movie's level by a small margin. Yang Shou began to pack his bags. Music composition is a complex task with many elements. It's not that Yang Shou personally knew which songs appeared in the original movie and could simply apply them mechanically. Moreover, the main storyline has changed, and the rhythm of the movie has also changed. The various scene music to be used are also very different. When it comes to music, besides winning over big names like the 2 Sages of Glory, it is also important to cultivate my own team. Xiangjiang Quan Kai Ching Xuanqi, what are you doing now? Yang Shou didn't ask Xiang Shisan to come forward and help him find this person. It is not difficult to see from Xiang Shisan's recent attitude change towards Su Ke, Xiangjiang, and many crew members that he has begun to plan to leave with just 1 vote and move towards entering the industry. Yang Shou naturally cannot reveal the top talents of the future to Xiang Shisan. Avoid him getting ahead of others. The jewelry and jade in Yang Shou's hand have been monetized through Xiang 13. HSBC has also deposited tens of millions of dollars in its account. But these are all floating wealth. Anyone who appears on the stage among the wealthy in Xiangjiang will not underestimate Yang Shou just because of this amount of money. Next, as long as the fairy ghost generates an illusion, I have the first bucket of gold in the world of cultivation, and can start a comprehensive layout of the entertainment tycoon in Xiangjiang. Those wealthy people in the fragrant river may not be interested in floating wealth, but they also don't like pills that can strengthen the body, prolong life, or spiritual talismans that can protect safety in homes. In the world of cultivation, collecting a batch of defective products at a low price is an unparalleled treasure that cannot be exchanged for money in Xiangjiang. Recruiting a group of wealthy people to help escort me, I just want to take away half of the entertainment industry in Xiangjiang. I don't think they will have too much opinion, will they? Before the movie could be released in Xiangjiang, Shou handed over the finished film and Shou ordered the reduction of the list of staff at the beginning and end of the film. After reproducing a copy, he left a sentence, "global travel," and disappeared from everyone's sight. Even when Xiang-13 mobilized his troops, he couldn't find the whereabouts of Shou, let alone the traces of Shou leaving Xiangjiang. As a result, I gradually became more convinced of Shou's disguised identity. After 4 months, Shou returned to Hangzhou Film and Television City and charged his phone. In the first 1 or 2 months, Tian Jie, her agent Wang Gu, her cousin from her hometown, as well as group actors Xiao Sun, Xiao Lu, and others, all made phone calls and sent text messages. In the next 2 months, there were only missed calls from my cousin and aunt. Shou's identity is that his parents are away from home all year round and engage in research on state secrets. The key is not to send spiritual energy to home, which is outrageous. The person who takes care of him in his daily life is his aunt Lu Zijuan. My uncle has been dissatisfied with this for a long time, so when Shou reached adulthood, he went out to earn money and struggle on his own, so as not to affect the harmony of his aunt's family. I called my aunt and cousin separately to report my safety. Shou did not return to his small nest in the film and television city, but went to the spiritual tool market to purchase jade plates and special effects packs. He also needs to convert and record the movie content from the film onto a jade disc, and then use a cheap magic special effects package to further enhance the special effects scenes in the movie before sending them to the review stage. After the approval by the review panel, different promotion and release resources will be allocated based on the comprehensive preliminary rating of the immortal weapon spirit. Afterwards, it's waiting. Whether a movie can generate an illusion is often determined within a month after its release. Movies that have not yet generated an illusion for more than a month will have a significantly reduced probability of generating an illusion afterwards. At the same time, the promotional resources obtained will also decline. In the world of cultivation, the release and promotion resources of movies are mostly controlled by the official, and are reasonably distributed through immortal tools and spirits. Private individuals can manipulate public opinion, but their overall impact is not significant. That is to say, good is good, bad is bad. It is impossible for bad films to occupy a large amount of public resources and delay the production of good films. And ordinary people don't have to spend any money watching movies on a daily basis. Instead, they receive a certain point reward for every movie they watch. After accumulating rewards, they can be exchanged for cultivation resources. So, in addition to work and practice, it is common for many ordinary people to go to the cinema to watch movies together. You can both relax and entertain, and earn points, why not do it? End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Waiting for release, seeking monthly tickets, seeking follow-up reading. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Waiting for release, seeking monthly tickets, seeking follow-up reading, queuing up to send the jade dishes to the review desk. Shou's next step is to wait for the review to be completed. Although it was not a desperate gamble, and even if it didn't work out, Shou had alternative options. However, while waiting, his mood was still fluctuating and he was somewhat worried about gains and losses. Half a day later, the phone rang. Shou picked up his phone and saw the golden and eye-catching number, 666, which made him even more nervous. Connect the phone, and the soft and beautiful sound of the reviewing station's spirit can be heard from the speaker. Congratulations, the movie you submitted for review, The Ghost of a Beautiful Girl, has been approved and rated as B.level. It will be released in batches in approximately 3,000 cinemas across the country within 3 working days. Each cinema will schedule no less than 3 screenings per day, and one of them will inevitably be in prime time for viewing. After hearing this sentence, Shou couldn't help but vigorously wave his fist, venting his excitement. Reviewed. It's also going to be released. This is equivalent to entering the first threshold. Next, let's see if the movie is popular and if it will be out of place. If widely recognized, it can generate illusions. The review of movies by the review desk is mainly divided into 6 levels. S, A, B, C, D, and E. Different levels lead to different initial promotion resources. After a week, adjustments will be made based on the number of viewers, either increasing or decreasing. If the number of viewers reaches 50 million or more within a month, excluding duplicate viewers, you can receive a delay key. The number of viewers is directly related to the quality, output, and exploitability of the generated illusion. The initial evaluation is B. level, which indicates that the submitted immortal tools and artifacts have a high evaluation of my film, The Ghost of the Beautiful Girl. After all, A. level evaluations often belong to large-scale productions, and even top cultivators may participate in investment and production. The creative team of my film, The Ghost of the Beautiful Girl, is unknown in the current world, and it is very good to achieve B. level quality. Shou is full of anticipation and waiting for the movie to be released. There are many types of film and television works, but in the world of cultivation, there are also small techniques for submission for review. In the Eastern world, movies in the categories of fairy tales, martial arts, and supernatural creatures are more likely to receive high initial reviews and pass the review process more easily. In the Western world, movies in fantasy, mythology, supernatural powers, and supernatural categories are also more likely to receive initial high praise and easier to pass reviews. Popular love dramas such as dog blood dramas and urban life dramas, even if they create illusions, have little development value and are not highly respected and advocated by the authorities. Often, during the review process, they will be downgraded by half. However, this type of film and television work still emerge endlessly. The reason is that this type of work is inherently low risk, resulting in the illusion it generates being basically safe and harmless. It is often the first choice for some wealthy parents to protect their children when they first enter the illusion and try it out. After all, movies are movies, and illusions are illusions. The two are related, but there is also a disconnect at the same time. A practitioner with a substitute identity, even if they are lucky enough to have the protagonist's halo to protect their body after entering the illusion, cannot guarantee absolute safety. Once a choice is made carelessly or they commit suicide, there is still a possibility of death in the illusion. Many people die in the development of the illusion every year due to improper operation. Shou is anxiously waiting for the movie to be released. At the same time, we should also seize the time to practice some practical combat spells and close combat skills. Shou has also purchased some courses on life-saving tips for hallucinations online. Unfortunately, only the props and items produced within the illusion can be brought into the realm. Real objects are not allowed to be brought in, otherwise Shou will have to find a way to get some weapons no matter what. On the second day after the trial, The Ghost of Qiannu was scheduled to be released. Hangzhou Film and Television City also has 7 cinemas arranged for this movie, including 2 cinemas, and even arranges 5 shows for this movie every day. At such a joyful moment, Shou originally wanted to invite his companions and friends to watch the movie together, to experience the audience's evaluation up close. But he scrolled through his contact list for a while, only to find in despair that there was no one to invite him to this bustling Hangzhou Film and Television City. Sweet sister covets his body, and he won't actively approach. Agent Wang often seems to be in a daze, and his relationship with Shou is not very familiar. Just say hello, it doesn't matter whether the other party comes or not. The other familiar group performances are usually superficial. If you see him jump to become the lead actor and the movie he made even goes through the audition, you might become jealous and crazy. This group of people may even praise them in person, but the slander behind them is definitely extremely fierce. Just like the grassroots sword immortal Pei Qinghua, there are still many so-called black materials related to him circulating in the film and television city today. Although there is no stone hammer, there are many people willing to believe. To reduce trouble, it's better not to notify. His hand involuntarily slid to a number, and Yang Shou hesitated for a moment before sending a text message. The movie I made is about to be released. If you have the chance to see it on your end, you can take a look. The information is almost instantaneous. Really? I need to ask for leave from the production team and fly back to watch your movie, replied Yang Shou, the contact person who was marked as Grass Girl Jiao Si. Immediately after, a phone call came over. Yang Shou hesitated for a second and answered the phone. Hello. Hello. Your movie is about to be released. What's your name and rating? Do you want me to help you with the promotion? Yang Shou didn't say a word and threw several words directly at him from the opposite side. If it doesn't affect me, you can help me promote it. Yang Shou said. While speaking, Yang Shou's expression carried a hint of embarrassment. It's not that I'm too embarrassed to seek promotion. I'm just my own network resource, why be polite when I can borrow it well? The awkward reason is that we met more than half a year ago. That time, they all drank some alcohol. What makes Yang Shou a bit difficult to accept is that he has always been a girl with friends since childhood, but because he drank a little too much, he suddenly felt that the other person was so beautiful. Although the other party quickly slapped back, there was an inexplicable feeling that the previous free and easy way of getting along seemed to be irreversible. When Yang Shou recalled, the other person had already hung up the phone directly. Subsequently, Xiaogua actress and Feng, known as the Fairy of Qingqiu and the Goddess of Gusha, directly shared the viewing files and selected posters of Qiannu Ghost on her various social media accounts. Although Yang Shou did not tell her the name of the movie, she can search directly on the platform based on the name of the lead actor. Yang Shou's work came out as soon as he searched. After a wave of promotion was completed, and Feng's phone call came back. Little beast, you owe your sister a favor this time. How are you going to repay it? Yang Shoushuan's mouth slipped and he said, Sister is very kind, and younger brother is tied up in a knot. Pooh. And Feng hung up the phone again. Yang Shou was taken aback for a moment and carefully recalled, what's going on? I haven't driven either. And I've also driven before. Suddenly, Yang Shou remembered the special cultivation technique of Feng, and combined with his previous words, he understood the meaning of the word ba completely. Ah. I didn't think much about it either. Should I make a phone call to explain? I really have no idea about the spiritual heart ring she has cultivated since childhood. The last time I accidentally pinched it, I drank too much. Absolutely no other meaning. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. My Fantasy Realm, Seeking Monthly Tickets and Pursuing Reading. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. My Fantasy Realm, Seeking Monthly Tickets and Pursuing Reading, Forget It. Feng's spiritual heart ring is very strange. If she sees me feeling guilty, it would be even more embarrassing. Yang Shou gave himself an excuse and then pretended that nothing had happened. At the same time, click to enter the official platform of the cinema and view the comments on the promotional page of The Ghost of the Beautiful Girl. Originally, the comments section was clean and there were no comments left. Perhaps due to Feng's recommendation, the number of comments suddenly skyrocketed. I haven't watched the movie recommended by Xiangjiang yet, but when I glanced at the main creator, it turned out that it was all Yang Shou alone. This Yang Shou is very abnormal, said a netizen with the username Eating Candy and Spitting Bubbles. Anyway, I won't go see it. Your friend Xiaoming retorted, where do you mean to place the grand Chu Jianxiao and Chu Dashan? Which movie of Dashan doesn't have one person controlling all the characters, part-time screenwriter and director? Do you dare to say that all the movies he made are bad? The apprentice scolded immediately, Chu Chonka, shut up. Chu Jianxiao took advantage of the clever script design, with no more than 3 main characters and 5 main scenes in a movie. There is no difficulty in filming, and it all depends on one's own acting skills. Making a movie is still a group creation, with one person making a film, which belongs to the niche. The spout makes sense, and Xianzi. If you are kidnapped, just blink your eyes. The spout makes sense, and Xianzi. If you are kidnapped, just blink your eyes. The next step is most likely to be the world of repeaters. Shou angrily closed the comment. Because he found that his originally restless emotions became even more uncertain after a few glances at the comments. Under the restless social atmosphere, fighting has become a survival instinct for many people. Feel free to comment, and when I have time, I will definitely go and grab your idol's spiritual ring. Fans make mistakes and idols pay for it. Shou gritted his teeth, changed into a new outfit, covered most of his face, and then went out straight to the nearest cinema. There are hundreds of cinemas, big and small, in Hangzhou Film and Television City. The Hangzhou Cinema, which has the most cinemas, has over 30 large cinemas that can accommodate hundreds of people, and over 100 small cinemas that can accommodate around 100 people. There are more than 10 VIP rooms available. At the entrance of the glamorous cinema, a group of girls dressed in cool clothes, each holding light signs on their heads and promotional posters, loudly promoting different movies. They are some promotional girls invited by the production team to attract a certain number of viewers into the cinema to watch movies, and they all receive commissions. Many male viewers who enter the cinema, although standing still watching the free benefits, do not buy them. The points rewards given to movies in cinemas are uniform. But some wealthy film producers will distribute certain ticket subsidies specifically at the entrance of major cinemas. That is to say, the person holding the corresponding movie ticket stub can exchange some gifts and even points through the ticket stub. Many people who do not have a serious job and have difficulty practicing will choose to become professional movie watchers, guarding large companies and ticket subsidies. When the market is hot, they may not earn less in a month than ordinary office workers. The ghost of Shou's beautiful girl only had 3 shows in the huge cinema. Fortunately, they are all large cinemas. After the viewing time arrived, Shou walked into the cinema. There were some couples sitting sparsely in the cinema, not even a fifth of the room was fully occupied. Shou couldn't help feeling a bit disappointed, but he could also accept it. After all, there was no additional promotion, no large amount of coin ticket subsidies, and the fact that 1/5 of the people in the cinema could sit was already due to that B.level rating and Enfeng's recommendation. Those movies produced by large companies will undergo a wave of promotion before being submitted for review. They may even spend a lot of energy on the review desk and apply for a delay in release, so there is still a period of promotion time after the review is approved. Shou doesn't have promotion capital, so there's no need to do so many tricks, just wait for the release and see the real chapter. The movie started soon. The overall film style is still very Shou style. The selection of characters, love and hate, and hatred in a chaotic world are basically the consistent themes of Shou Ku. Those little couples who were originally just looking for a place to pass the time were quickly incorporated into the movie content through their brothers singing. Although it was not his first time watching a film, Shou still enjoyed watching it with relish. When the movie finished in 100 minutes and the final finale was played, many men and women with melancholic faces were left in the cinema. The ending of the story may not be tragic, but it gives people an inexplicable sense of bleakness. Shou knew that this feeling was given by the historical background that Shou Ku had been operating in. The overlapping of the joy of the little people and the tragedy of the big era creates a strong contrast. The absurdity after strong affection has an inexplicable mockery. "It's a good movie, right?" one audience member whispered. "Of course it's a good movie. Xiaoqian and Xiaozhua are both beautiful, I don't know who their actors are." A male audience member from SP, whose thoughts were still stuck in the 2 scenes of Xiaoqian taking a shower and Xiaozhua dancing, didn't take them out. Take a closer look at the creator list, this movie was filmed by one person. That's the male lead actor Shou. The female actors you think of don't exist. The male audience's girlfriend stomped on his role, angrily poking a beautiful dream. Yang Shou walked out of the cinema together amidst the main positive feedback from the audience. Next, Yang Shou changed to 3 more cinemas and watched 3 more shows each. The feedback received is also quite good. A week later, as the overall evaluation of The Ghost of a Beautiful Girl was quite high and the number of viewers continued to rise, the cinema decided to expand its release scale. The number of cinemas screening The Ghost of a Beautiful Girl has increased to 10,000. At the same time, there should be no less than 5 screenings per day. This data has surprised many people. Some people started searching for Yang Shou. People who have dealt with Yang Shou before have also dug out his contact information and started to appear very familiar, trying to establish a relationship with him. Some people have reached out to Yang Shou through various means, half threatening and half tempting to buy him out of his physical body and offer him a new one. There are also some small production companies that have contacted Yang Shou to sign him. It has been a month of such chaos and disturbance. The Ghost of the Beautiful Girl ultimately did not exceed 50 million single viewers and obtained the extension key. On the 6th day after the screening, Yang Shou suddenly had a sudden impulse at midnight and had a special sense of a strange field. My illusion. It has been born. End of this chapter.